That's all. There you go. Hi, everyone. We have Casey Stoney here. She's going to give a statement on this weekend's match, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, morning, everyone. Appreciate you coming on. Another huge game. Obviously, when we previously played Kansas, they gave us lots of problems, especially with their two up front. So, we know it's going to be a really difficult game. Really proud of, obviously, the resilience we showed last week, albeit I think we can be better with the ball. So, yeah, I have to respect a very good team that have gone on a very good run. They've not lost the game for a while. So there's a lot of respect for them. And obviously Matt's doing a great job as the head coach there. And we know it's going to be a really difficult game, but we're at home. So we're going to go and have a go as we always do.
You have questions, Jerry?
Guess we got announced the game over in the friendly game coming in the future. How do you think that might affect our playoff picture if we're then we missing some key players and what may not be the friendliest of friendly?
Yeah, it's great for women's football that they're going to have obviously European champions against world champions. It's not great for me as a head coach that my players are flying across 8 different time zones to get there. But we'll have to adjust and adapt accordingly when that time comes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Hector?
Yeah, Coach, the game coming up, you guys tied 2-2 in the first one. It was a high-scoring game. What do you expect to do in terms of changes or adaptations to the first time you played Kansas City?
Yeah, it was a tough game, really tough game. Thought they were exceptional that night, so we know that we're going to be in for a real test. We're at home, so the emphasis is on us to attack and take our game to them, which we certainly will do.
Thank you.
Scott French?
Hi, Casey. I've got a couple of questions for you. First off, I'm wondering, what does Pogard bring that's different from McGrady? Why make this deal?
It was the deal was obviously it suited both players because Tegan was out of contract at the end of the season, wasn't in my future plans. I have to plan ahead, and obviously Portland came in with an interest. So we obviously had an interest in Poe in terms of her athleticism and speed. So yeah, she definitely brings something different, and obviously dressing room wise, she's an incredible character to bring in. Tegan was a fantastic player for us, a fantastic human being and servant, and I'm massively grateful to all the contributions she made. But it's my job to keep the team progressing, and Poe coming in is just brings us a little bit more speed around that back line.
Okay. So wondering if you could kind of give an assessment of Van Egmond and Korniak through the season, what they've brought to you, in what ways they've been most important for what you've accomplished so far.
Yeah, I think Van Egmond's been outstanding for us, to be honest, in the way she plays. She's got 100 odd caps for Australia, and that experience shows in our team when she plays as a double six or a single six. Her ability to stay calm under pressure and use the ball. And also she does a lot of stuff that people don't notice in terms of the scrappy little bits when we haven't got the ball and picking up, second phases and doing those jobs. So she's been brilliant. And obviously Taylor, I'm right, so it's only her second year in the league. So, she's still very young in her development. I think she's been, great for us. People just think that she's in there for her height. You look at how many assists she's had with her feet and her ability to play a through ball and get players like Alex and Sophia on the ball is a key part of what she brings to this team, and I'm pleased to have all of them back from international duty.
And lastly, you guys have certainly had a great start. You're on top of the table. How gratifying is it being a first-year team, being a first-year coach in this league, and how satisfied are you with what you've done? And is it ever possible really to be satisfied?
Well, number one, I'm never satisfied. My players will tell you that. And yeah, we're first in the league, but we also know other teams have dropped points. We're first in the league because I've got a great group of players. They work hard every day. They go out and they perform, and we picked up points where we've needed to. But we also know we've got big games ahead. This league is absolutely wild when it comes to results and transitions, and you can be comfortable in a game and then uncomfortable within 2 minutes of a game. You can feel like you've won it, in the 90th minute, and then you see score lines, they're 2-0 up in 90 minutes and someone can come back to 2-2. So it's a crazy league. It's exciting. I'm sure it's one for the fans that they love. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the players and our development, but there's so much more to come.
Wonderful. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks.
One more question. Obviously, we don't have Abby this week. What adjustments have you made in her absence?
Yeah, I don't have to make any adjustments. Kaylee Reel's been outstanding when she's come in this season, so it'll be the same again.
Taylor Vincent.
Hey, yes, Casey. We have a couple of weeks left in the trade window. Is the Wave looking to add any more depth to the team, or are you guys pretty much set for the year?
Our eyes are always open. We're always looking, but it needs to be the right player at the right time with the right opportunity. So, we'll just continue to do as we're doing at the moment. If anything comes up, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stephanie.
Hi, Coach. I have two questions. The first of which is, I saw that you were really emotional over England's win. You were crying tears of joy. And it's been 56 years of hurt. It looks like it's finally come to an end, at least for the women. And I know that you went through a lot as a player. You didn't actually go through the most ideal circumstances. And do you feel that everything you went through was worth it?
Yeah, and I think that's where the emotion came from. You talk about 56 years of hurt. The game was banned for 50 years in England. Women weren't allowed to play on pitches. And the game in England is very different. I come here every day and I see young girls playing soccer, and it's encouraged. It's part of the culture here. It's definitely wasn't that way. It's changing in England. Has it changed fully? No, you still don't. You have 1 hour of physical education and PE at school. Girls still don't play football in school. So, when you grow up your entire career being told you shouldn't be doing something just because of your gender, then you're treated as a second-class citizen in most of the clubs you've been to, and you're not allowed to use facilities, you're not allowed to use pitches. It's really, really difficult. So yeah, I cried because I know that all those that paved the way for me made a huge difference, and then hopefully my generation made a difference to those that went out there on the weekend and won. And I think I was more emotional because I'm a mum now. I've got 2 little girls and I've got a little boy, and I want him to grow up knowing that they're his equal, and I want them to grow up with the same opportunities as him. So yeah, I think it was a huge moment, just not in football, but in society in England.
And congrats on that win. And I do have one more question, and that is, did you eventually buy the players that pizza?
They did get the pizza, but it came off the club credit card. So yeah, yeah, they paid for it.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Jackie.
Thanks. Hey, Casey, I had a few questions for you. Appreciate you taking some time this morning, but kind of speaking on that note of just, the challenges in England and what that was like playing there, but just in general, when you think of the growth of the Wave, and then of course, women's soccer in the NWSL, I guess, what kind of standards do you hope for, to keep growing and excelling in that area of just, player conditions on the field or off the field? I guess, what would be like your ideal vision of what quality standards would look like there?
Yeah, and the thing is, I've experienced both sides now, in terms of being a player in England, a coach in England, and now a coach here. And, we all know the stories that have come out of this league that are completely unacceptable, that players should never, ever have to face and go through. And players had different challenges in England that they still shouldn't have to go through, So all I can hope is that we continue to have, background checks on all coaches, that clubs do their due diligence on their staff, that they are resourced to the very highest level, in terms of training facilities, medical care, and also attitudes towards players. We're here to facilitate and help and develop players. We're not here to scream, shout, and bawl at them. There's a time and a place to make sure that standards are raised, and how you do that's really important. But a player should feel safe in any environment that they go into. And my hope is that we have a safe environment that can be psychologically safe, physically safe, medically safe for all players, that we move into a new stadium on the 17th of September, that we can get record crowds there every single week. We can bring huge crowds in, and that we can continue to grow this game, because it's, it can do so much for not only women, but society. And obviously within this local community, there's not a huge amount of sporting teams. So we have to capitalize on that and make this community fall in love with a team. And they can do that if they believe in it, and if the players believe in it and they're invested in it, which I wholeheartedly believe they are.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you sharing on that. And then just also too thinking about kind of just the return from this recent break. How do you just feel like your team is finding that rhythm as players are just settling in a little bit more? And then of course, along with adding those players such as Poe and Jaden as well.
Yeah, it's obviously difficult. Something I've never experienced as a head coach is playing through FIFA windows. That doesn't happen in Europe. You keep your team, and something you have to plan for on your roster is that you're going to continue to play through FIFA windows. It's difficult because players play really well. Team wins, they go away. Players come in and do really, really well. And then those internationals come back in and they're back in the team. So emotionally for those players that have filled the team during that time and done exceptionally well, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for me as a head coach. It's a challenge for them as players. But I think if you're really clear about everyone's role and their expectations, and you continue to make people feel valued, they're still going to have their challenges. They're still going to struggle. They're still going to, because ultimately everyone wants to play. But my job as a head coach is to pick 11, and then make sure that I put the game changers on that can change the game. And I've got 25 on my roster. I can't play everybody, and knowing that I'm going to emotionally impact on those players every single week and how I support them is important. And I'm not always going to get it right, Jackie. I'm going to get it wrong from time to time. And I want my players to tell me when I'm getting it wrong so that I can help them. That doesn't guarantee that I'm going to play them, but it means that I can help support them in any way possible, because it's a game of emotions. Every little girl picks up a ball because they love the game. They don't stop loving the game just because they get paid for it, So it's looking after that side of it. It's a huge challenge, but we obviously managed to get a result in adversity last week. We need to build on that now. We've set our standards in terms of our mentality. Now we need to set our standards in terms of the way we use the ball.
Yeah, and last question for me, just kind of, you mentioned like coming off your last just road win. I mean, what are some of the areas that you're working on with your team to just continue to stay on that route? As I know you mentioned the last time you played the Current, it was a draw. So
yeah, we need to use the ball better. We know that. We scored a goal, we created a couple of chances. They created, obviously, Chicago put a lot of pressure on us. I think the huge part for us was the way we defended our box was immense. So we need to build on that. And then how we use the ball, how we're patient in certain moments, how we can keep the ball for longer periods is something that we really need to focus in on and work on.
definitely. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you, Casey.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Oh, wow. There you go. Okay, everyone, we have Naomi Girma and Katie Johnson here. They're both going to give a short statement about the game this weekend, and then we'll open it up for questions. So Naomi, if you want to go first, just a couple sentences on your thoughts.
Yeah, I think this weekend's game was a hard fought battle for us. Going down to 10 players in the second half wasn't ideal, but I think we showed good mentality and good fight to come out with a win.
And to add on to that, I would just say we're going to bring that mentality into this next weekend's game, and we're excited to be back home and look to get another 3 points.
Do you have any questions?
Probably just that same mentality of just go in and try to make a difference and give everything I have when I'm on the field. I think that's consistent for the whole group as well. So yeah, just a really positive mentality and try to make a difference on the field.
I guess, are you gonna make any adjustments this week with Abby being out, or do you just go out and be solid like you always do?
Oh, like personally?
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna try to help the team as much as I can. And Kansas City will give us a different front line than Chicago did. So just adjusting our tactics for that. But other than that, I think go out the same way I usually do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Jenna, if you want to go ahead with your question.
Yes, hi, Jenna Tonelli with All for 11. This question is for either of you, both of you, a little bit more about off the pitch stuff, the Players Association and Ally announced recently that inaugural Ally Award to recognize, some of the players that are doing the unseen work behind the scenes. And I know that the Wave nominated Jody Taylor. So I was just wondering if you could talk a bit about Jody and just kind of like what she brings to the team, on the field and off the field. And then in a follow-up to that, also just your thoughts in general about the importance of having an award that kind of goes beyond, Golden Glove, MVP, Golden Boot, and recognizing those players.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah. We nominated Jody, and I think she's just been incredible both on and off the field for us. Being a younger player, she, especially at the beginning, did a really good job of just bringing in the rookies and kind of showing us the ropes and, teaching us like what we should expect and what we should be doing both on and off the field. So she's been a great teammate, really just has great energy, always brings people together, and is an awesome leader for us. And
Oh yeah, and just sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that idea of having that award and instead of just like an award for performance is great. And I think there's a lot of outside community work and bring recognition to the NWSL and like playing with different clubs and teammates. I think of like Blue Barnes, who've done a great job with like environmental awareness. So I just think it's a great opportunity to showcase players in that way too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And good luck this weekend.
thank you.
Scott French.
Hi, thank you. This is for Naomi. Wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about what has worked well for you guys defensively, especially in the box and in the defensive third, how that's come together, and as kind of a related follow-up, just what Kaylin has meant to this team this season.
What Kaylin has meant.
Yeah, what Kaylin has meant, and then just an assessment of how you guys have come together defensively.
Okay, sorry, there was some banging in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, I think defensively we've been tightening up our game throughout the season. And a lot of times we only focus on the back line, but I think it's been the whole team kind of coming together and making sure we're executing the game plan. Last game, you see like midfielders, forwards, back, defending the box, just making sure we don't let the other team get shots off. So I think it's been a big mentality thing for us, and I think it's just gotten better throughout the season. And obviously having Kaylin back there helps us a lot. She's been great. Both when she's making saves, but also just organizing and communicating to the back line and making sure we're tracking runners or playing the right pass when we're building out. Just having her voice back there has been huge, and she's made some pretty incredible stops for us when it really counts. So she's been awesome.
Yeah, she has made so many incredible saves. Do you feel a little safer when things go wrong?
Yeah, I guess I'm like, obviously always trying not to let them get a shot off, but like last weekend giving up a PK and then having her make that huge stop and just knowing she kind of has our backs, that was awesome. I was like, thanks, Kaylin, like you're awesome. So yeah, I mean, we trust her so much and we know like she's gonna come up big for us, and yeah, it's just been great to have her.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Jackie.
Thanks. Hey, Naomi. Hey, Katie. Appreciate you both taking the time. I had a question for each of you. So I'll, Katie, start with you. But just as a player who has been on, quite a few teams in this league, just what is it about the Wave that stands out to you as just how this club is just cultivating, players' growth on and off the field?
I would just say the level of professionalism from top to bottom and how much they take care of us and how detail oriented they are. I think that just sets us up for success. And that's one thing I've noticed with this club that stands out from others, especially it being our first year. You just kind of like, you can see that even though we're a first year team, I think people didn't expect us to do that well, but like we are performing well because they've taken care of us and we've been able to put in the work on and off the field and cultivate a really good group of girls.
Yeah, definitely. And then for you, Naomi, just when you think about kind of the growth as a whole with the Wave, just what type of legacy do you hope to kind of have in your rookie year with this club as you just think about it throughout the season?
Yeah, I think being our first year, just wanting to make a big impact And I think for us, it's really important that we're making an impact on the field, obviously, performing well, but also off the field in the community, starting to like interact with different groups and just show that we're here to, you know, create a positive impact and not just to play soccer.
Definitely. And then, okay, I promise last one for whoever wants to answer this, but, and just talking about some of the, you know, tactical adjustments, you know, of the game, how do you just feel like the team is kind of finding that rhythm again, you know, following the break of just what it's like to continue to just see players settle in and just adjust there?
I would just say that we have depth, and I think that's what really shows throughout this season, and having girls rotate in and out pretty seamless, I feel like, in that transition. So I think that really shows how good our team is.
Yeah, I think a lot of players stepped up during the break too, and that was huge to get points. And then now with everyone back, I think just continuing to, you know, get points and hopefully stay at the top of the table.
Definitely appreciate you both and see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
And do we have any other questions? Okay, all right, thank you both for joining and thank you all for jumping on the call.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie.